What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Save the Robot, and back with a Halloween reaction. I started reacting to this album the last couple months. I think I've reacted to at least 2 of the tunes. I know Off the Assembly Line and Robot on Drugs for sure. And I, Robot, I think 2. I think I've reacted to 3 tracks. I'll look into that, but bottom line, as I surely have said in those other reactions, this is one of my favorite post-2000 psy-trance albums, maybe my absolute favorite in that regard. Which is further to say, my brain sort of draws a line between like vintage 90s Goa, which tends to have heavier kick drums, tends to be very like meandering and abstract, you know, tracks just go on 7-8 minutes and just go into different phases, you know, reconfigure, as opposed to more slick psy-trance, which tends to be a bit tighter in terms of the like composition. It tends to have a more like punchy but less thunderous kick drum. It tends to have more melody, and it's maybe less acid heavy, even though there is a lot of acid in some of them. And indeed, that's one of the things I love about this psy-trance release, is it is some of those things. It's not like 90s like, you know, acid fueled Goa, but there's a lot of acid on this album. And again, just the whole album, like there's not a bad track on there. But it is funny because the track we're going to listen to, Dream on Halloween, is not one of the ones that I've used in a lot of my psy-trance mixes. There's 3 or 4 tracks on here, and I just mentioned a number of them. Off the Assembly Line, I, Robot, Robot on Drugs, Electrochemical to maybe a slightly lesser extent. I've used those in many mixes over the last 10, 12 years whenever I got my first copy of this, and indeed, I have 3 copies of this. Well, the first one I got, it's not in great shape, so very quickly after that I got this copy. And there was a German website that sold psy-trance vinyl, and it was sort of having a liquidation, like, you know, we're getting rid of all of our merchandise, so they sort of marked some things down. So I have another mint copy that I got like a dozen years ago, never touched it. So if anything happens to this, I've got fresh mint copies ready to take their place. Whatever. The point is, Dream on Halloween is one of the tracks that I have used less often. But I remember when I first got the album thinking that, like, literally there's not a bad track on here. So presumably I am fond of this as well, even if in the moment it doesn't come back to me as clearly as several of the others. I did just grab the wrong record, I apologize, so let me replace record 1 and take out record 2. So here we go, and this is from 2005. I do have to point out, this album is called Battle of the Mind. It's not written anywhere on the release, and the track Battle of the Mind, which does exist, is on a separate, like, single 12-inch, not on the actual album. So what the heck? But again, shout out to Save the Robot, shout out to Roger Ram at TIP.World. So here we go, Dream on Halloween by Save the Robot, 2005 on TIP.World Records, which is the version of TIP that existed in the aughties and I think the early 2010s. Eventually, Raja Ram revived the like classic TIP label, but here we go. Save the Robot, Dream on Halloween. Until I hear that first kick drum, I never know.
Each passing year has seen our estimate of probability of license rights increase, along with our capabilities of detecting it. More and more scientists feel that contact with other civilizations is no longer something beyond our dream.
Little rolling psy-trance bass line. All the little touches, the little like wood tap, the like electrical interference phasing by, that big chord. of those stop starts in psy-trance. Little dead pauses. Space probe heading through an asteroid field. Like a tractor beam. The psy-trance cauldron. The echoed layers, the electrical interference. Whoa. That damn bass line. It's like, it's a bit more like stripped down compared to some of the other tracks on the album. When we get to that elevated plane, we do get there. Gorgeous. soon. I mean, it's got melody. We had that, like, you know, heading into the celestial environment sort of melody, but generally speaking, this one is a bit more stripped down. It's a bit more austere compared to other tracks on the album. But hearing it now, it's a shame I haven't used it in more sets over the years. I may have to do a psy-trance set soon, or I maybe even start with this one. I think that's the plan. That's a cool track. Again, better than I remembered, and maybe a shame that I had not been playing it as often as the others. So yeah, I mentioned it before, and the only potential challenger in this regard, meaning for my favorite post-2000 non-Goa psy-trance album, would maybe be Alien vs. the Cat Spacejam, which is a really, really good album, also from TIP.World, and also from the same time period. I want to say it's maybe like 07 or something. It's, you know, it's right around the same period, mid-aughties. And again, it's partially because both of them not only have this really great production overall, but both albums have a high component of acid, which, again, you get that more in vintage Goa, not as much, not completely, you know, devoid, but not as much in like later styles of psy-trance. So yeah, ultimately, again, this is a fantastic album. This track's better than I remembered it. It's still weird to me that the title track is on a separate release, which I do also have. We should listen to Battle of the Mind at some point. It is a good tune, and admittedly, maybe part of it is it's not quite as memorable as some of the ones on here, but if that's the case, why did you name the album Battle of the Mind? It's still bizarre to me, but either way, we'll go through that one eventually. I did want to hit a few Halloween tunes, and believe it or not, I have a Goa Trance tune from the 90s coming right after this, which is just called Halloween by Talamasca. So we're going to go through that one as well. And yeah, let me know what you think of this. I know Tassos has been checking out some of the Save the Robot reactions, so big shout out to you, big shout out to Kim, who will no doubt show up. And yeah, just let me know what you think of this one. I will see you next time. Peace.